What is going on, guys? Joey Friends here with FLEXX Training Systems, and today I wanted to take a break from the I guess you call it like a mini podcast. There's still one more episode to post, but I don't know. We're gonna get back to what you guys care about, and that's gonna be the keys. You guys all want the free keys. So here we go. Today I wanted to talk about sustainable training. As usual, I interact with my flex boys. I'll interact with lifters that I work with, and occasionally a situation or topic will come up that I was like, oh, it's a good question. It's probably going to benefit a lot of people. Let me go ahead and make a video on it. And I think that's what really provides value to you guys, is I'm always using feedback or questions from actual lifters in the moment. So that way, when you guys get it, it's like, oh shit, like I deal with this, right? So hopefully it's going to be helpful. I just want to talk about sustainable training and give you guys an example of, just what sustainable training could look like, and like why it's really important, and why you cannot squat 3 times a week, deadlift 3 times a week, and bench 5 times a week forever, because you're going to break. Like NFL players don't play football year round. They play football during the season, and they have an off season. And that's kind of like the way I like to do it as a powerlifter. Now, you don't need to stop doing the powerlifts completely, but you're definitely going to have periods where you kind of calm down a little bit, you chill out from things, stuff like that. So today I'm going to talk about sustainable training. Let me give you guys an example. So let's say, you just come off a meet, right? You come off of meet and your coach has you doing, so for me, I like to do like once a week low bar. I like to do once a week comp deadlift. Maybe I might do it without a belt. Or maybe, I'll definitely lower bench frequency. I'll take out, like if I'm doing 3 times a week close grip bench, I'll lower it to like none or 1 or something. Just to get more variety in there. It might reduce bench frequency, stuff like that, right? Just more of an off-season type approach, right? More bodybuilding, more variety, targeting muscle groups as opposed to lifts, like specific lifts, right? In prep, we're focusing on improving a lift, whereas in off-season, we're focusing on sort of improving the muscles, like the muscles associated with the lift, basically. And that's what you need to do. Like, in my opinion, if you've been going hard, if you had a long prep, 5 months, 4 months, 3 months, it's probably a good idea for you to take a break from the amount of frequency that you're on, comp specificity that you're on. The way I like to think about it is, you're only going to get a finite amount of, you have a finite amount of times in your life when it's all said and done that you squatted. Meaning, when you're 90 years old, like a god or whoever, a robot or some omnipotent force can come to you and say, right, like, you squatted exactly, 12,394 times or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I kind of like to look at it. Like, in your life, you're going to squat a set number of times. It's probably a lot less than you think. And the reason for that is that you spend, like, you literally are rubbing bone against cartilage under load. And eventually there's going to be a point where doing what you're doing is going to fail you. Maybe you have the best form in the world. Maybe you have, like you deload all the time, you do everything right, but your body will fail you. It's literally programmed in our cells for us to get old. It's not a mistake. It's not a problem. It's intentional. Mother Nature is like, yo, we got to die. Let some of these people die off. Let's make way for new ideas. Let's make way for new genetics. Let's make way for another generation, right? This is a programmed thing. And eventually, over time, you're going to have to chill out. So how do I keep people in the game longer, many, many years? I've had people here since 2013, 2014. You got to keep them healthy. So how do you keep them healthy? You got to know when to push, and you got to know when to pull back. Closer to a meet, we're going really hard. Your hips are going to get tight. Your back might get tight. There's things you can do to kind of mitigate this, but over time, you're just going so hard. it's gonna suck. It's gonna be painful, right? I mean, you're just gonna feel like shit. Maybe you're not in pain, but you're like, my joints are starting to feel a little creaky, right? After meet prep, you handle your meet, you blow your numbers up, you hit PRs, whatever. I mean, you can assess kind of how you're feeling at that time, but you need to give it a break. And the example that kind of comes to mind is one of my lifters. I got him to hit some big numbers, only squatting once a week. And now you guys might hear that and be like, wow, how's that possible? You're doing less frequency. Well, I'm just focusing on quality, right? Quality. So he hit some big numbers, not like a crazy all-time PR, but like the most he's ever hit on lower frequency. And he pointed that out. And I said, yes. And not to mention you're dieting, and not to mention that, like, by the way, this is a wheeze, by the way, not to mention, that the reason why, I mean, I always talk about this, if you guys go back in my videos, the reason why we're able to do that and maintain a good level of base strength is because we are desensitizing from the amount of workload we were doing when we were prepping, and we're trying to maintain as much of our overall strength as possible while lowering your frequency, while adding in a new or less, I mean, I wouldn't say, less stimulus, but just a different kind of stimulus. Maybe it's tonnage wise, it's probably a little bit less, right? And because I have these lifters for long term, right? So when I have a lifter for long term, I can start to plan like, okay, what are we doing this year? We got to compete in March. We got to compete in July. We got to compete in November. Okay, how am I going to plan that out? Maybe, we have a big gap. Maybe we go March and we go September, right? I'm like, all right, cool. Or March and December, even better, right? Cool. We got a big ass break between that, for maybe April, May, June. We're hitting more variety. We're working on other things. And then July, August, September, we're like, actually, we can go even longer. But I might bring in some specificity after desensitizing them a little bit, just to kind of like get that base back up, remind their body like kind of what we're really trying to accomplish, and then pull that away, maintain as much strength as possible, get close to the meet, boom, bring it back in and ramp it up, right? That's wow, I should charge for this video, brothers. Holy shit. Maybe I'd take the whole channel down. How about that? Let's do that. No, I'm kidding. I don't really care that much. But yeah, that's something that I like to do. And so I told him, I said, hey, I know you want to deadlift twice a week. I know you want to low bar twice a week. I know you want to bench more frequently, but more is not always better, right? It's absolutely not always better. And you got to understand, especially when you're young and you're getting really, really strong, really, really fast. I've had a lot of times where that happens and the lifter wants to keep going. And I'm like, dude, we should probably chill out. Like we're running hot right now. We got to pay it back, right? We got to pay those dues. You have to pay your dues. You can't just go up forever. Like things are going to catch up to you. Things are going to break. Maybe your muscles are adapting really, really fast, but your connective tissues are like, bro, like literally, I am not able to handle the load your muscles can move right now. One, that's a testament to good programming because you're getting stronger, but two, you need to stay alive. You need to stay healthy. And that's what it is at the end of the day. Powerlifting is a game of making appreciable progress, right? So you're making progress at a rate that you can appreciate while mitigating injury and downtime, right? It's tricky. You can't just go hard. And I think that's where a lot of guys just kind of fizzle out and become irrelevant. You have to pay your dues. You have to recover. You guys always hear me saying that like RPE6 work is underrated because it is. People just don't value it for some reason as much as they used to. I don't know what's going on, but like it's just not good. So that's all I really wanted to say. You can make both work. I always try to tell people like I bet you that I could get you to progress doing less frequency than you were doing before. And they're like, impossible. And they just don't understand the idea of quality over quantity. And I made many videos on this in the past. I've talked about this like forever. I want to say maybe 2015, I really started to think like, maybe 2014. I don't know. That doesn't matter. What matters is you guys got the keys from this video. You guys are going to, if you're thinking about taking that deload, you should probably take it. If you're thinking about lowering your frequency because you're running hot, you should probably do it. When I get injured, right, and I can't squat for a little while, like, you'd be surprised how much muscle you keep, right? And you'd be surprised how much strength you keep. So, and how little you have to do to maintain versus build. Anyway, that's all I want to say. We'll keep it nice and short. 10 minutes. Thank you for listening to me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me get #keys in the comments down below. Peace.